Right now, as you watch this, 10 countries around the world have volunteer programs open, actively looking for young Africans between 18 and 35 to fill placements. And the part that most people never find out until it's too late is that several of these programs cover your flight, your accommodation, your meals. Some even come with a monthly stipend. You are not paying to go, they are investing in you there. But here's the thing, and this is the reason I need you to watch this entire video before you do anything else. Every single one of these programs has a deadline. Some close in weeks, some close in days. And the application process for most of them takes longer than people expect. If you start late, you might miss the window and then wait until another full year. I'm going to give you all 10 countries, the exact program to look for in each one, what they cover, and the first step to take today before this video ends. Stay with me because this information could change where you spend the next 3 to 12 months of your life. Now let's go. But before we get into the list, let me tell you exactly how these countries and programs were selected, because not all volunteer programs are created equal, and I'm not going to waste your time with programs that are impossible for Africans to access. Every country on this list has a program that accepts applicants from African countries. Every program has been verified to have an application window currently open or opening within the next 90 days. And every single one has a track record of placing African volunteers, not just accepting application and then ghosting them. These are real placements, real communities, real impact to be made, and real opportunities you can move on today. We are starting with number 10 and working our way up to number 1. And I promise you this, the closer we get to the top of the list, the more our joy is going to drop. So let's begin with number 10, South Korea. When people think of volunteering in Asia, Japan comes up, China comes up. South Korea almost never does. And that is your advantage. South Korea's World Friends Korea program, run by KOICA, recruits international volunteers across education, health, IT, and agricultural development. The program covers your return flights, housing, a living allowance, and full health insurance. Placements run from 6 months to 2 years. Applicants from Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, Ethiopia, and Uganda have been successfully placed in recent cycles. The application window typically opens between January and March, making right now the perfect time to start preparing. The one thing that sets successful applicants apart is a personal statement that explains why South Korea specifically and what unique skill or perspective you bring to the table. Generic statements get filtered out in the first round, specific ones get through. Now, country number 9 has one of the highest acceptance rates for African volunteers on the entire list, and the program has been running for over 30 years. Now let's get to number 9, Germany. Germany has one of the most structured and well-funded international volunteer programs in the entire world, and it has been sending young people to and from developing countries for decades. The program is called Weltwärts, and while it primarily sends German volunteers abroad, there is a reciprocal strand that brings volunteers from partner countries, including several African countries, into Germany for placements in social services, environmental organizations, cultural institutions, and youth development centers. What makes this program exceptional is the financial structure. Volunteers receive a monthly stipend of between 300 and 500 euros, full accommodation, health and liability insurance, language training before arrival, and a return flight. You are not surviving, you are living and working in one of Europe's most stable economies while building skills and network connections that follow you home. Eligible countries in Africa include South Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Ghana, and Ethiopia. Country 8 is one that every African who wants a career in international development needs to know about. Now let's go to number 8, Japan. Japan has been running one of the most respected volunteer programs in the world for over 60 years. It's called JOCV, operated by JICA, the Japan International Cooperation Agency. What makes this program different is its counterpart volunteer stream that specifically recruits talents from developing countries, including several in Africa, to work in Japan and in JICA's global partner projects. Placements cover return airfare, accommodation, a monthly allowance, Japanese language training, health insurance, and a resettlement allowance when you return home. Fields include agriculture, healthcare, education, engineering, environmental conservation, and IT. What makes this program particularly strong for African applicants is its focus on skills exchange rather than charity. You are not going to Japan to receive, you are going to contribute a specific skill. And the application process rewards people who are clear and specific about exactly what skill it is that they have to give. Country number 7 is on a different continent entirely, and it has a program that covers more costs per volunteer than any other on this list. This leads us to number 7, Canada. Canada's International Youth Internship Program is one of the most comprehensive funded volunteer opportunities available to young people from developing countries. Run through Global Affairs Canada, the program targets young people aged 18 to 30 from countries including several in sub-Saharan Africa. Placements run between 6 and 12 months across public health, environmental policy, gender equality, economic development, and education. The package includes return flights, a housing allowance, a monthly stipend, professional development training, health insurance, and a completion bonus when you return home. The application process is highly competitive, definitely as you would expect. Successful applicants have a specific background aligned to placements, strong references, and a personal statement with a clear plan for applying what they learn when they return home. Vague applications do not get through. Specific evidence-backed ones do. Country number 6 is somewhere most people would not think of first, but the program there has one of the simplest application processes on this list. I'm talking about New Zealand. New Zealand's distance from Africa has not stopped it from building one of the most accessible international volunteer programs available to young Africans. The program operates through VSA with over 60 years of history. VSA recruits young professionals from partner countries, including several in Africa, for placements across Pacific Island nations and New Zealand-funded development projects in Asia and Africa. What makes VSA stand out is its skill exchange philosophy. They are not looking for unskilled labor. They want young professionals with a specific competency: health, education, agriculture, IT, or community leadership. People who can genuinely transfer knowledge in both directions. The package includes flight, accommodation, a living allowance, health insurance, and pre-departure training. VSA publishes its current vacancy list online, and you can apply directly for the role that matches your skill. Country number 5 has something no other country on this list offers: a volunteer program specifically designed around African youth leadership. That country is the Netherlands. The Netherlands channeled a significant portion of its development investment into a volunteer program specifically targeting young professionals from across Africa. The program places young African professionals in Dutch civil society organizations, research institutions, NGOs, and government-affiliated development bodies for 3 to 12 months. What distinguishes the Dutch program is how volunteers are treated, not as interns, but as junior professionals with a formal mentoring structure, a skill development plan, and quarterly reviews. Many live with formal certification and European development sector connections that benefit them for years. The package covers return flight, accommodation, a monthly allowance, health insurance, and cultural integration support. Applications require a professional CV, 2 references, and a motivational letter. The selection process prioritizes applicants who demonstrate clear alignment between their existing skills and the specific role on offer. And from here, every country offers something that will make you reconsider where you thought your limits were. This section opens with number 4, Australia. Australia's International Volunteer Program is one of the most structured and outcome-focused on the list. It is called the Australian Volunteers Program, funded by the Australian Government's Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. The program places volunteers from eligible African partner countries in placements across the Pacific, Southeast Asia, and Australian-funded development initiatives globally. Fields include community development, public health, education, agricultural development, and good governance. Financial coverage includes return flights, housing, a living allowance, health and emergency evacuation insurance, pre-departure training, and in-country support all through. What makes Australia particularly valuable for career building is the alumni network. Past African volunteers report that professional connections made during their placements significantly accelerated their careers in international development, public health, and policy long after they returned home. 3 countries left. Country 2 has a program that requires almost no experience to apply for. And Country 1, the one I've been holding back, covers costs that no other program on this list touches. Do not leave now, because we're entering Country 3, which surprised me when I researched it, because it is one of the least talked about volunteer destinations for young Africans, and one of the most generous. I'm talking about Costa Rica. Most young Africans look east to Asia or north to Europe. Very few look west towards Latin America. And that gap in awareness is the biggest opportunity on this list. Costa Rica works with international organizations, including the UN Volunteer Program, to place volunteers in environmental conservation, sustainable agriculture, education, community health, and biodiversity protection. Costa Rica has the highest biodiversity density of any country on Earth, and the organizations protecting it are actively recruiting volunteers with science, education, health, and agricultural backgrounds that align perfectly with what young Africans graduate with. Programs through the UNV platform cover accommodation, a monthly stipend, health insurance, and in many cases, the visa cost itself. New roles open monthly on a rolling basis. The best strategy is having your UNV profile completed and ready, so you can apply within 48 hours of a new role being posted. Country 2 requires almost no experience, which makes it the most accessible program for young Africans at the very start of their journey. I'm talking about the United Kingdom. VSO, Voluntary Service Overseas, is based in the United Kingdom and has been placing volunteers in international development roles for over 60 years. They have an explicit commitment to recruiting volunteers from across Africa. This is a critical distinction. You are not the recipient of the program, you are a qualified contributor to it. VSO placements cover return flights to and from the UK, full accommodation, a living allowance, health insurance, visa support, and pre-departure training. Placements range from 3 months to 2 years. What makes VSO the most accessible UK program for first-time applicants is the entry requirement. VSO's entry-level stream accepts applicants with no prior international experience. What they look for is motivation, community skills, language ability, and most importantly, commitment. The VSO portal is open year-round. The most important action you can take today is creating a profile and uploading your CV before a role you are suited for closes. The number 1 country on this list, the one I told you about at the beginning, the one that covers costs that no other program touches and has an application window that is closing faster than you think, Sweden. Sweden does not treat international volunteering as a side program. It is the national commitment built into the government's development cooperation budget. The program is coordinated through SIDA, that's the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, and places international volunteers in Sweden and in Swedish-funded projects globally. Here's what makes Sweden number 1 on this list. The package covers return flights, full accommodation, a genuinely livable monthly allowance, health insurance including dental, visa processing fees, language training, and professional development. But the detail that separates Sweden from every other country on this list is the re-entry support program. Sweden formally helps you transition back into your home job market after your placements end. You leave with a certificate, a portfolio of documented impact work, professional references from Swedish organizations, and an alumni network spanning 40 years. The application window closes in 90 days. Identify the Swedish civil society organization that aligns with your field and reach out directly today. Sweden is not the most obvious destination, it's the most powerful one. 10 countries, 10 open programs. Every single one of them has a seat that was not filled last cycle because the right person did not know it existed. That person might have been you, not because you were not qualified, but because information did not reach you in time. Today it did. Every person who has gone through one of these programs says the same thing when they come back. They went thinking they were going to give something to the world. They came back having received more than they gave. New perspective, new confidence, new professional connections, and a new relationship with their own potential. The only thing standing between you and one of these placements right now is the application, and that starts today. Here is exactly what I need you to do before you close this video. Pick the 1 country on this list that feels most realistic for where you are right now. Not the most impressive one, the most achievable one for you today. Drop that country in the comments along with your field, education, health, environment, technology, or community development. I read every comment and will personally reply with the specific program link and your first application step. Now share this video with one person in your cycle who has been waiting for a reason to go. This channel brings you real international volunteer opportunities for young Africans every single week. Subscribe so you never miss the deadline again. Your application starts today, not tomorrow. Today.